Hi, good morning. My name is Rev Eskin from YFM, host of the Y Leaderboard series. I'd like to take this opportunity to welcome you all to Ready to Work webinar powered by Absa, that's African Acity. Now, global changes in the use of technology and the future, and of course the nature of work have urgent implications on how people are educated these days. I mean, the young people around the world are educated and also, of course, prepared for the labor market, the world job market, and the world business market at large. Employers are increasingly demanding more. They are looking for more than just skills in the young ones in order to fill them in the job markets. They're looking at people who are agile, young people who are creative, the ones that are flexible, ready to adapt, ready to collaborate with people on projects and that. Though soft skills are increasingly seen to benefit the youth in all domains of life, especially when it comes to building their skills, these are things that are poorly discussed. Most of the times not well addressed, too often overlooked in policy making in fields like educational systems, even training, and then at the workspace itself. In today's webinar series, if you've joined us, you're here to join us discuss the topic bridging the soft skill gap between the world business market or the world job markets and then academia. I'm not doing this alone. I'm joined today by two professionals who are quite versed when it comes to these two fields, all right? To help us do justice to the topic today, let me just basically introduce our panelists who join us, break things down. Of course, you are part of it as well. Quick reminder, if you want to be a part of this conversation, the hashtag is Ready to Work. We're live on YouTube now. We're live on Facebook, Apsa Ghana, and of course, we're live on Zoom. So thank you so much for joining us today. Now, our first panelist is one of the top marketing and corporate relation professionals here in West Africa. She's quite known. She's passionate about youth development. She's passionate about giving back to the society and is directly involved in how Absa plays a shaping role in the society. Nana Esifua Tamaklo is the Director of Marketing and Corporate Relations at Absa Ghana. She's my first panelist. Now, Nana, in due time, will engage us on how Absa Bank is passionate or why they're passionate about education and skills development for the youth and, of course, the need for the industry itself, the business market, to also invest in bridging the soft skill gap in there. My second panelist is also quite known in the academic field. He's a great man. I've spoken to him a few times. He's always up to something good. He's always all about changing our educational system. He was a recipient of the Order of the Volta Award back in 2007. He's Ghana's 8th most respected CEO he was Ghana's 8th most respected CEO back in 2010. I'm sure he's moved up the ladder now. One of the Fortune magazine's 50 greatest leaders in 2015. Dr. Patrick Awuah Jr. is an engineer, an educator, entrepreneur, and founder, as well as president of the Ashesi University. Doctor will give us insights in due time into why soft skill gap exists and how we can bridge the skill gap between academia and the world of work, all right? So we'll move on straight into that. Let me quickly welcome my panelists. They're joining me on Zoom. Thank you so much for joining us, Nana Esifua, and of course, Dr. Patrick Awuah Jr.
Thank you, Reverend Eskin.
All right, so we're going to move on straight to business. Let me start off with you, Nana. Just about a year ago, Absa rebranded with the purpose of bringing possibilities to life and, of course, becoming a force for good by playing a shaping role in our society, Ghana. How has the journey of playing a shaping role in the society been so far, in your opinion?
Yes, and thank you very much, Reverend Eskin. Okay. But first, let me acknowledge all our audience on the various platforms and thank them for their time and interest in this all-important subject. You know, we launched, as you said, a year ago, and then COVID hit. Very unprecedented. We didn't expect this coming. But for Absa, since we launched this exciting brand, it's been a rewarding time and also a learning curve for us. As our brand promise says, we help our various stakeholders get things done. And in so doing, we bring their possibilities to life. And therefore, since the launch, we have actually focused on helping our customers, our partners, our business stakeholders, our staff, our communities to get things done. And we have done this actually through the provision of our products, our services, our regulatory obligations to our sector. Right. And let me just put it this way to Mother Ghana. You know, we have delivered all of these, Reverend Esken, despite COVID. But allow me to see how we have really impacted on our various communities and our stakeholders just through 4 key areas.
Sure.
First was our support to our customers. Regardless of COVID, we partnered our customers, offering them payment holidays, fee waivers, interest rates reduction, and enhanced digital platform just so they can bank conveniently. And then in addition, we continued, if you observe the numbers that have been published, to lend to customers even at the height of the COVID in 2020. A real testament to the fact that we partner our customers through tough times, and we have continued to do so. Secondly, to our staff. As at Absa, we say our people are our strength. Without our staff, we know we will not be able to support our customers the way we have been able to do so. And we have supported our staff tremendously, and therefore, they have also been able to contribute towards a stable banking system, and therefore to many households and extended to the communities. Remember also that when the government made a call for businesses to support the COVID-19 Trust Fund, we were one of the first businesses to contribute generously to the government's COVID-19 Trust Fund. And we made this donation to support increased testing and the procurement of PPEs for our frontliners who have been very, very key in the fight against COVID. And finally, but not the least, we have been playing a shaping role, Reverend Esken, for many years now, and especially to our youth and enterprise development. We remain committed to this pillar of our Force for Good agenda, regardless of the COVID, and supported our youth through all our various programs, our Ready to Work, our graduate management trainee programs, our scholarship schemes, and we continue to offer internships and other programs, including the development of our SMEs and build their capacity. We have done all of this regardless of the COVID. And as you can see, we do recognize that in looking after our clients, and then our people, and then our society, we can together bring possibilities to life. So we've been quite busy, Reverend Esken.
That's great. That's a lot, for a company like you. And I'd like to personally commend you and Apsa for the great job you did throughout the COVID period. I was personally a part of the people who heard the message being spread about how Apsa is supporting startup brands, giving free mentorship, giving free business skills to how brands, startup brands can, shoot up throughout the COVID period. So thank you for that. I'm going to get back to you in a bit. But let me move on to Patrick. Doc. Can Doc join us?
Yes,
all right,
good morning.
Doc, good morning. It's great to see you again.
It's good to see you.
Yes.
Good to be here.
Yes, Doc, so let's move on straight to business. About a year ago, COVID hit. We woke up one day and then COVID-19 was out there everywhere. It stopped a lot of things. Personally, what do you think has been the impact of COVID-19 on the education system here in Ghana? And of course, personally, how have you been able to cope with COVID-19?
Well, COVID-19 had a very big negative effect on the education system. And in particular, a lot of the public schools stopped operating because they weren't, they weren't geared up and didn't have the infrastructure to move online quickly. But some private schools, some universities were able to move online quite quickly. Ashesi was one of them. We took a 2-week pause just to get students settled back at home, get all our systems set up, and to do some crash, workshops for our faculty so they could move online. And then since then, we've been running online. But I think that if you look at the educational system as a whole, especially the public, primary schools, the JSSs, those all shut down. The government was able to get the final year senior high school students to go through.
Yeah.
That was very commendable. They did it in a safe way, and those students have been able to continue on with their education.
Basically, that has been the way through which we've been able to sustain ourselves throughout. But now today we're here for a purpose to discuss how we can bridge the soft skill gap between academia and then the job market or the world of work. Briefly, let us understand your insights on this, what you think about the topic and the way forward.
Well, I don't know if I can share my screen. I prepared a quick presentation that I could share with you, and really looking at Ashesi's experience.
Yeah.
Looks like I can't share my screen. Well, I'll just read off my presentation. That's
yeah.
okay.
I think you can share it.
So,
it's allowed. You can share it.
Let me just first start by. I can?
Yes, you can.
Okay, all right, here we go. So I'm going to, when we think about what we're doing at Ashesi and WAIT, it's quite a broad set of things. Can you all see my
Yes, we can.
screen okay?
Yes, we can. Doc, you can continue. We can hear you.
It's a broad set of things, and we have you read through this list: ethics and civic. I think my video is frozen. I'm going to go into just audio, and
No problem.
hopefully that will
So long
help.
as we can see the screen and hear your voice, I think we'll be good.
Okay.
Yes.
I will switch. Give me just a minute. Give me just 1 minute.
No problem, sir.
I want to just run through, can you see my screen now?
The screen has gone off, but we can hear your voice. Yes, we can see the screen now. It's back.
Okay, all right. So we have a set of 8 learning goals that we try to achieve with all our students. And many of these are things that you would call soft skills.
Yeah.
And I just want to run through them very quickly and talk about why we think they're important. The first is ethics and civic engagement, right? So we want our students to be ethical. We want them to show concern for others. We want them to be people who do the right thing when no one is looking. We want them to be critical thinkers, so they can analyze data, they can see things from multiple perspectives, and they have broad awareness of local and global issues that they can apply to their work. We want them to be powerful communicators in a variety of forms, so written, oral communication, being able to communicate effectively on different platforms, email, social media, etc. We want them to be leaders, right? And our definition of a leader, right, is somebody who is a force multiplier on a team.
Okay.
So when a student graduates from college and they go into the world of work, they're not going to go be the CEO right away unless they're starting their own company, right? What they're going to do is they're going to join a team. And so leadership in that context is that they're people who engage well with other people in teams and they help those people to be more successful. They have good interpersonal skills, they have confidence, but with humility, and they get the job done. Innovation and action is about taking risks, intellectual risks, and having entrepreneurial spirit. Curiosity and skill is that we want our students to be inquisitive. We want them to be able to probe deeply in the field that they're studying. We want them to be technologically competent and a flexible user of technology. And we want them to be professional, right? So they honor contracts, they adhere to professional standards, they're respectful of others, and they execute responsibly and with excellence. Now, a lot of people call these things soft skills, and I want to go back to this one ethics and civic engagement. And it talks about demonstrating concern for others, right? Now, what people don't understand, usually when they think about empathy, they think it's this soft thing, but actually it's a very important hard business skill. And the way I explain that to people is I give them a thought exercise. Imagine if you're working in a business over a period of time, let's call it 5 to 10 years, and you often are met with decision points where if you make one decision, it's in your best interest but against the interest of others. Or if you make the other decision, it's in the interest of others and not necessarily in your own interest. And think about what are the chances that somebody who always makes decisions in their own interest but against the interest of their team, against the interest of their customers, and so on, what are the chances that that person will rise to become CEO of the company? The chances are actually very small, because to be the CEO, you have to be somebody who can have empathy for a very wide range of people. So you have to care about shareholders, you have to care about your employees, you have to care about customers, you have to care about your business partners, you have to care about your public engagement with government and so on. And so this idea of having empathy for others, having courage and being ethical, it's a very, very important skill. Now, the way I think about this, I stopped sharing my screen. So the way I think about this is that it's really important as educational institutions to remember these soft skills, right? So it's very easy for us to think about if you're educating an engineer, the very specific skills in engineering that they must have, or if you're educating someone in finance, the very specific hard skills in finance that they must have. And it's easy to forget these soft skills, but I would say that those so-called soft skills are often the most important skills that we need to impart in students. And this really guides everything that we do at Ashesi. So I'm going to stop here so you have time for more questions. And then perhaps I can go back and talk about how we run as an organization at Ashesi and sort of our corporate culture that we build, so that we run well as an institution with excellence, but also that we educate students appropriately.
Great, that's very great to know. And my view on this is we still have, in the system, we still have a smaller part of our education system working tirelessly towards building the right kind of graduates to fill the various fields out here in the system. I have a question for you on the system itself before we get to the other ones we have. In your opinion, you've been in our education system for a long time. Do you think generally Ghana's education system is a fertile ground for practical studies? Because obviously with all these things you mentioned, practical skills comes in. It comes in building students to become leaders wherever they go, being able to collaborate on projects when they are done with school and that. Has the system itself been fertile enough for these things?
The system is changing over time, right? So I would say that there's a lot of work that remains to be done. We have an educational system that is very heavily steeped in rote memorization of information, right? And that continues to be a feature of education in Ghana at all levels. But it is changing slowly. It could be changing a little faster. And I think if you look at the higher ed system now, you walk into a computer science department at some of the larger universities. 20 years ago, you would walk into a department that didn't have computers. Today, when you walk into those same departments, they do, right? And you also see that they're talking a lot more about critical thinking. They're talking a lot more about leadership. And so there is change happening at the higher ed level. the senior high school level is still very steeped in rote, as are the lower levels. And there's still a lot of work to do there.
All right, great. So if you're home, if you're watching us now via Zoom, on YouTube, or even our Facebook, put in the hashtag #ReadyToWork. If you have questions for Doctor, put it through. If you have any suggestions as well, anything you think we can discuss on here, comment through, send it through. At some point, I will give us the opportunity to interact with our panelists as well. Now, let me go back to you, Nana Sifwa. Can I have Nana Sifwa on, please? Great. Nana, now, from the perspective of an employer, you are in the job market. And, of course, having heard what Doctor just spoke about, are the areas clear with you? What are the areas that resonate with you as a brand, and what experience do you see at your workspace? You've been in the business field for a while. Per what Doctor said, what are the reality when it comes to the specific parts where he spoke about?
Yeah, thank you very much, Reverend Eskin. And you're right. A lot of what Dr. Iwa mentioned resonates with me. Because when you consider the requirements of institutions and the general place of work, you realize rapid changes occurring in the business environment and the increasing importance of the application of soft skills. These were not the same before. I mean, you can think back when some of us joined the workforce. It was not as critical as it is now. And further, as alluded to by Dr. Iwa, there are these new business-led skills that are emerging. He mentioned some, but complex problem solving, critical thinking, creativity, your ability to be agile, emotional intelligence actually comes to play a lot here. Teamwork, and one that I love most, cognitive flexibility. These are all emerging, and they are very critical for organizational growth and actually for the individual, career growth as well of the person. Some of them are more advanced stages, and others are still emerging, I must say. But then just typically look at the workplace and cast your mind onto two people who have just joined an organization at the same time. The awareness and the application of the soft skills actually can be a differentiator between the two, because most of us enter the organization with academic qualifications, and because we know we must achieve a certain standard, that is almost a given, and that's more theoretical. However, if you have awareness of the soft skills and you're able to quickly apply them, you suddenly see the difference between two, let's say, graduates who have entered the place of work immediately.
Hello?
Yes, Rev.
All right, sure. So now, thank you for that. Let me move on back to Patrick. I'm going to get back to you in a bit. Patrick, now, having heard the discussion today, I mean, you've heard Nana Sifwa speak about the reality at the workspace, in the job market as well. I want to find out from you briefly, what new things would you like to see from the wider, education or academic community? I mean, beyond Ashesi, to bring about a world where there's no longer a soft skill gap. The reason why we're here today.
Well, I think that it's really important for universities to be very clear, and educational institutions to be very clear about what their mission is and how they accomplish their mission, right?
Yes.
They need to be clear about what kind of corporate culture they want to build, because the corporate culture that you have, the way you yourself work, will affect how your students emerge. That's really important. The second thing that we need to do is we need to really look at assessment, and how we evaluate students is really important. Now, let me give you an example. If you have an institution where the assessment is done on the basis of a written exam that constitutes 80% or more of the overall grade, and that written exam is really testing recall of information, then that is what students are all going to sort of gear themselves towards, right? So they will run a whole semester just cramming information, waiting for this final exam at the end of the year or the end of the semester, and repeat all this information that they've crammed, right? Now, if you have an assessment system that is a continuous assessment system, so literally every week counts, right? So their assignments to students are given every week to do in their courses that count towards a grade, and they count significantly. Let's say 50% or even more of their grade is on all that continuing work. Then that student is going to emerge from school, from higher ed, with a very different work ethic, right? So there's the one person who thinks all that counts is the end of the semester after 4 months is what counts. And there's the other person who thinks every day counts. When they go into the world of work, they behave differently. There's one that knows really every day counts, and which, by the way, is how the real world works. No manager says, okay, go hang out for 4 months, and at the end of 4 months, I'll give you an assignment and see how you do. They want you to be dealing with customers, and they want you to be getting the job done every single day. Another way to assess students, if you're assessing students based on project work, and these projects might be individual projects, they might be team-oriented projects. Again, they'll build a different skill set than if it's just about their own personal recall of information. So I think that this is something that universities especially need to really completely need to change the way we do how we assess our students.
Great.
And this is not happening quick enough, I think, in Ghana.
If I'm not mistaken, you basically mean we should speed up the process of reforming our educational system, because it's changing, it's improving, it's becoming better. But we need to reform in terms of reforming our curriculum, reforming the mission of the various schools. Let's say a technical institute, all right, that is supposed to train people based on technology, now just resorting to theory as a way of examining or assessing their efforts. We need to shift and change from all that. We need to get the missions right and know what every institution is about.
That's correct.
Great. Thank you so much.
That's correct. I'm saying that change is happening, but we need to speed it up. Yes.
All right. Thank you so much. Now let me go back to Nana Esifwa. Of course, the job market. We'll be doing a switch between the world market and then the world work market or the job market, and then the academic side as well. Nana, briefly, let me find out from you. I'm all about progress, okay? How do you think employers can create awareness, all right, of these important soft skill sets required and create opportunity for students to acquire these skills? How do they let the academic side know what we want or what they want way before they come in and be half-baked graduates?
Thank you, Rev. I'm sure there are countless ways as employers we can help. And some are already doing it. And I'll encourage those who are already doing this to do more. And for those who are yet to come on board to do so. Because the truth is, we all recruit talents from the same ecosystem. And that said, let me use this opportunity to share my personal thoughts. You know, as I've said earlier, technical skills, I believe, are more theoretical, and they are learned through the different educational systems we have. And we all went through some of these educational systems, and as Dr. Iwa has mentioned, so we are all aware of the standards that we are supposed to achieve to enable us, you know, pass our exams. Soft skills, however, after working for quite a number of years, you realize that they are best learned and imbibed through observation, practice, role play, and eventual behavioral change. I like something Dr. Iwa just said, that every day counts. And for us at the job place, every single day counts as you come to work. So it gives a young graduate or a young person who has joined the workforce an opportunity to build these skills and hone them in. I guess from the educational institution, the building the awareness in itself is the start. So once this awareness begins early, of course, once you're in the job space, you get the opportunity to really practice and hone in these skills. From the perspective of employers, there are opportunities that Reverend Eskin, we can create. And let me speak from the perspective of Apsa and what we've been doing. We offer a lot of internships. I think for the last 4 years, we've given almost 490, almost 500 internship opportunities to some of these young students. And as I alluded earlier, these come from observation, your real interaction and practice. So these are channels through which our young graduates are able to start imbibing the culture or how to learn and apply the soft skills. Job shadowing, which we've been doing, is one area where, as employers, we can contribute. We also have Apsa graduate management trainee program. Great. And guess what? We even call it Gen A.
Okay.
This is where we are now. And then we also organize what we call Absa Days. It's employer branding, which takes senior management to institutions.
Yes.
We use the opportunity to engage students. And in engaging students, yes, they might not have had the practice, but as I say, it's even creating the awareness, sharing with them what they require to be successful at the workplace and to be very useful contributor to the organizational goals. And then when we have some of our young graduates come into our system, we try and encourage them to go back and spend time with their alumni. When they are spending time with their alumni, they're actually sharing their career journey. They are sharing the soft skills that they are learning and how they are applying them to be successful, in their places where they are currently working. So I just like to see more of our employers invest, collaborate, because there are times you can even collaborate with other institutions, as we have done so with the Prime Time, to promote the National Science and Math Quiz. There are various platforms that employers can, use to add on to what they're doing. We can't do it all by ourselves. And therefore, I think a social call for all employers, where possible, to come on board would be critical, and it would be great. And it will help towards the national development as well.
That's well said, Nana. I'd have to commend you on that, but I'd have to add this myself. She said it all. We need these corporate entities coming on board. We can't sit and complain for years. Invest just a little bit more in ensuring that we create the world of young, creative, young, collaborative graduates who can fill the job market, because the gap is becoming big. We need to bridge it by ensuring that we solve the issue from the grassroots by emulating what Absa is doing. Let's do more. Let's spend some little extra to ensure that we get the right young people to fill our world job markets. Nana, still on you, though. You mentioned Absa Ready to Work. Of course, the main reason why we're here. I see the branding all over. It's a program for students. Could you kindly tell us a little bit more about the program and what Absa intends to achieve with this initiative?
This is a very exciting topic for me, as you can see. It is an online training portal that we have, and it has soft skills curriculum. And these soft skills just help to equip our young students to get acquainted. We were talking about being acquainted with creating the awareness very early. So our curriculum has got some of these soft skills: people skills, communication, emotional intelligence, people skills, entrepreneurial skills, money skills. We have all this built into an online portal. And it actually is very great because it also offers students the flexibility to choose their own path of the program and the pace at which they wish to complete the modules. And one of the great things about our program is that you can also receive certification at the end of each module, that is completed. Once you have also attained the requisite pass mark. You can access that program, multiple devices, your tablet, your laptop, your PC, your smartphone. And guess what? It's absolutely free.
Wow.
I say so because we recognized this need a while ago. And so this program has actually been in existence for about 5 years now. It is a great program. When you go online, you can be supported to learn how to write a winning CV, what we say a winning CV. When you sat on interview panels, if you allow me for a minute, sometimes you take a look at a CV and then you just put it aside. But how do you create a CV that is winning, that will hold attention once it is looked at? And also helps you to prepare for a job interview. It also helps you to incubate and grow a business idea. And that's where we call our entrepreneurial skills. And then all of these come together and to start as I said, the awareness creation of these soft skills. As I said earlier, it's foundational.
Yeah.
But for me, what makes me very happy about the Absa Ready to Work is that it begins the process. So we want to be part of the solution. We know it exists. We can't do everything, but at Absa, we want to be part of the solution because we see young people as the next generation of leaders, and they are going to be the same employers and the people we want to be involved in our business. That is why the business invested into this curriculum, and it will go directly to improve the chances of employability of our youth. We are actually working on enhancing the curriculum itself so that we can imbibe some of these new business-led skills into our curriculum. But I'm happy it exists because it is there for our students to make use of it. I'm very excited to share with you that since we started this program, we've had about 80,000 young persons complete the program. And as we speak now, if you went on the platform, we have 12,000 students who are registered on the platform. And something very interesting happened. You know, sometimes we've had a range of about maybe 8,000, 4,000 at a go. During the pandemic, when the students were on lockdown, we were doing a lot of promotion on it for them to go online. They were not attending physical lectures. So I was very happy that about 25,000 students found the need to spend some of their time while they were at home to be on our program and learn some of these soft skills. And I was very, very happy about that because all of this happened during COVID.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, guys. So you see, there's no excuse now. Apsa is clearly with us throughout our life cycle. Ready to Learn program is here for you. Take advantage of it. Make sure you learn the things that you're not learning at your educational space. There are a lot of deficiencies in the various fields where a lot of us study. And so now you have no excuse to say, okay, you were not given the skills. Ready to Learn is a platform for you to learn and improve your job hunting skills. How to write proper CVs, how to ensure that you're even in the right space, finding the right job, and the do's and don'ts. Basically, things that you will not be taught. Ready to Learn is ready to hear you out and, of course, teach you, move on to that next level. Patrick, let me come back to you. My last personal question to you, sorry. Events such as these create awareness, all right, and are helpful in catalyzing new ways of thinking. In your opinion, what would you encourage your academic peers to guard against? Challenges and, of course, pursue to accelerate Ghana towards a nation producing the world's most capable graduates. Graduates that can fill the Google spaces, graduates that can fill NASA, graduates that can fill the World Health Organization, and that. How do we get to that?
Well, you asked about what we should guard against.
Yes.
I think that the most important thing to guard against is complacency and being satisfied with where we are. And we need to always be looking for ways to do more. I think that we need to also guard against having walls between our institution and the society at large. So we need to reach beyond our campuses. We should be engaging with corporate Ghana very strongly. We should be inviting corporate Ghana to bring some of their problems to us so that we can help with innovation and coming up with ideation for solving these problems. We need to be very proactively writing case studies of businesses in Ghana so that we can start to use case studies from our own context in teaching our students. Because right now, if you look at the state of things, our textbooks, the cases we use are all from outside.
Yes.
And we should not be satisfied with that. We should be really pushing to make sure that we have a deeper understanding of our own context and that our students have a deeper understanding and that we're adding value to industry and to government in a variety of ways, on the innovation side, on the policy side, and of course, in educating the workforce that they need.
Thank you so much, Patrick, for your views on that. I take two key words. We need to add value to our education system. One, add value to the government system, where the funding is coming from, the business side as well. So we basically need to equip ourselves. These companies, these entities are spending so much to ensure that we become who we're supposed to become. But of course, we need to improve ourselves in order to add value to that. At this point, I'll take your questions. I have a few of them coming in. The questions can be for myself, Patrick, or Nana. They're all here to listen to us. If you haven't sent yours in already, kindly go into the comment box and then drop it in. If you're on Twitter, the hashtag is ready2learn. I have my first question here from Richard Boyne of Fubri. Thank you so much for joining us, Richard. Our question in here says, what innovative delivery model is Ashesi using to imbibe these skills to its students? I think this question is meant for Patrick.
So the question was, what delivery
model
are we using?
Yes, to imbibe these skills to its students.
Well, I think Nana Silfwa talked a little bit about that when you're talking about soft skills, it's not just about something that you're reading in a book, right? It's really a lived experience. Mm-hmm. And so for us, it's a combination of, yes, the conversations that happen in the classroom, mm-hmm. the work that students have to do hands-on in laboratories and so on. But it's all, more importantly, a lived experience outside the classroom. Mm. And so setting the culture of the organization, encouraging students to own the culture of the organization, of the organization and the mission of the organization. Mm. All of those things are really important. Nane Silfa also mentioned internships, right? We really do a lot of work to make sure that our students have experience in the world of work before they graduate. And so we're very, very engaged with corporate Ghana, corporate Africa, in getting those opportunities opened to our students, because that hands-on, on-the-job learning is critical. Mm. And then finally, about emotional intelligence, it's a very vast range of things. It's about being able to have empathy with people. It's having grit, not being fragile, having a sort of a sense of getting things done. Mm-hmm. And you develop all of that just from the sheer challenge of work that you give students to do, that you give students assignments that require team effort. They cannot actually individually solve certain problems alone. They actually have to work with other people to solve those problems. They're going to learn about teamwork doing that. You give them problems that are very, very difficult, that they may fail at the first time they try, and you encourage them to keep going, and they develop grit from all of that. So it's a wide range of things that we do. And then just the classroom conversations. You need to have a space where it's okay for people to take intellectual risks, to make mistakes, to correct those mistakes, where a failure is not the end of the world. So that's a set of things that we do and more, but it's hard to discuss all of that in just a few minutes.
All right. Thank you so much. Now I have a few messages on here, comments on what's happening now. Message in here from Bell. Bell has joined us on Zoom. Bell says, wow, 8,000 students so far, very, very impressive. Another question in here from Bridget Azure says, please, is Apsa ready to work platform free? Yes, it's totally free. Nana Silfa mentioned that earlier. It's totally free. Make sure you get on the platform and then steady. Another one in here from Araba Kwansima Nyamecha. I think Araba is watching us on Facebook. It says, well done, Apsa, for this initiative, and it's totally free. The website is readytowork.absa.africa. While you're on here, you can quickly check it out and find out for yourself. I'm very pleased to join this webinar. I strongly believe this is going to be a good one. Yes, I feel same. I feel it's going to be a great one. It's coming in from Manuela J. Next question in here says, what do you see as a soft skill gap amongst the youth of today based on interactions with them? I think this one is for Nana Silfa. What do you see as the soft skill gap? The main, I think we spoke about a few of them. I think the person joined in a bit late, amongst the youth of today based on your interactions with them. You've spoken with a lot of them. What do you think is the main issue?
Reverend Esken, thank you. When the beauty I like about our young ones when they join us is that their minds are fresh. Yeah. And as we say, it's a tabula rasa, like a sponge, ready to soak and learn. So that in itself is beautiful. However, as we have all discussed here, and a lot by what Dr. Iwa has said, when they join, obviously they need that time and that experience so they can learn, they live it, they practice, and then it becomes a behavioral change and becomes part and parcel of them. So naturally, you find that things like maybe collaboration, if they have not been exposed to it, would be an area where they need to improve critical thinking, complex problem solving. And now more and more, with the COVID, we are all changing how we deliver, to our organizational objectives, growth mindsets. They come in fresh. So of course, they've got to imbibe the skills of how do I grow together with the organization and then myself. And then the building of self-confidence. Not everybody is a good orator. We all learned it. We didn't just arrive where we are. And so the ability to build self-confidence comes from a lot of exposure that you are given. Communication skills, how to build your communication skills and improve. These are all things that you find at gaps, but then you see that those who are ready to soak it in, they quickly
pick up,
grasp these, and then they excel.
Thank you so much for that answer, Nana. Next question in here from Kelvin Boatin says, as a leader, how do you get your followers to buy into the vision if the very attitude of the followers isn't so encouraging? But is it also your responsibility as a leader to have that emotional intelligence to solicit with your followers in all your decisions making and planning to keep their interests, picked? That is challenging. So what do you say about that? I think it's for both of us.
Are you asking me, Reverend?
I think it's for any of us. So if Patrick has an answer, cool. If Nana wants to pick it, it's fine.
Okay. I can say a bit what my thoughts are, and hopefully Dr. Ewa would share. As a leader, you sell a vision. You sell a vision. And what you now do is to ensure that you pull all the right levers to ensure that your followers buy into your vision. And therefore, at the workplace, there would have been the organizational goal, but how do you work together as a team, communicate it effectively, support the team that you are working with so that they can actually own that vision and help you deliver? The scope of leadership is so broad. If we start that discussion, we will not leave this webinar. And therefore, as a leader, you must be imbibed with so many different qualities. How to galvanize your team, how to motivate, how to support your team. But first and foremost, how do you bring them along so that they can believe and share in the vision, so that as they are delivering, they even believe that they are delivering this for their own good. Some say people don't leave organizations, they actually leave leaders. And therefore, if you're a good leader, you should be able to do your very best with all the levers and the arsenal that is within your power to ensure that your followers share in the vision.
Nana has said so much. I hope your question is answered. This next question ideally would have been meant for Nana, but I would want to push it to Patrick as well, since, believe the fact that Patrick is in the academic field, but in that space, there's even a workspace there. There are people that work for, the education field as well. So this one from Matthias Charles Yabe says, considering the times we're in, with most people working from home, what soft skills do you recommend we master? What would make us more efficient if we have to work remotely throughout? Patrick.
Well, when you're working remotely, one of the really critical things is to be able to be self-motivated and disciplined. And you have to have good skills in time management, right? So working away from other people, your own internal ability to drive things forward becomes really important. We also, I think, you were spending so much time on screens and meetings and so on. And this is a time where it's really important to be thinking about those things that keep you healthy, right? So making sure that you're exercising regularly, making sure that you're eating a healthy diet, making sure that you're nurturing friendships. There's certain things that you do that sort of are good for your mind and your body and your soul. You need to pay attention to those things so that you don't feel too isolated working from home.
I think I would also want to add this: people should try and exercise their brains and their bodies while they work remotely as well. The activities will be cut out. The movement, the up and down movements will be cut out, obviously, because we are working remote. But you must take the opportunity to exercise when you have the chance, so you don't become sick or bored at any point. Thank you guys so much for joining us. I mean, you guys have shared so much with us. We're grateful. My viewers and I are super grateful for the time you spent with us. But before we wrap up, if there's anything we didn't add, any final words, I'll take the first one from Nana Esilfua.
Final words. You know, there are several opportunities that present themselves to our young ones. And I will just encourage them that they should take advantage of any opportunity that they get to build on these soft skills. These soft skills opportunities come sometimes even from church activities, participating in other youth activities. You know, there are so many opportunities that some of these activities present and initiatives, which I'll encourage them. They must be curious about so many things, you know, because it helps with the learning process. And just to have that continuous learning spirit, you know, that's the only way, with that curiosity and the ability to learn or wanting to learn, you know, they can improve on their soft skills. And it makes it easier once they join the world of work, because then they have the awareness. And then the next thing is to get it into practice from being within the workplace itself.
Thank you so much, Nana. Patrick, final words from you.
Yeah, I would say that, you know, the discussion has focused a lot on what we should be doing as the educational system, but it's also really important for students to understand that they too are responsible for what they learn and how they learn and what they bring to the world of work. And, you know, companies are hiring people to get things done. Companies have different missions, different ethos, and so on. And it is up to you to find a position in a company whose values you share. And it is up to you to improve yourself so that you can add value not only to the company, but to yourself. I mean, you should just be sort of have this feeling or this notion that you have the whole career ahead of you, and there's a lot of growth that needs to happen over the course of that career. And the growth is not all going to happen within, you know, the 4 years you're in university or the 3 years you're in senior high school, right? That growth is going to happen through your lifetime. And so the skill that the most important skill to be building now is the skill of learning, of continuous learning, and having that growth mindset that Nana Silva mentioned.
Thank you so much, Patrick, and thank you so much, Nana, for joining us, for making this a beautiful one. Ready to Work is here to stay. Once again, thank you for spending time with us. Absa is grateful. Our viewers, our listeners are all grateful. Wish you guys the very best. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.
Reverend Eskin, it was a pleasure. Thank you.
Right, bless.
Thank you very much, Reverend Eskin.
All right, guys, so there you have it. Great conversation on here, Ready to Work. One thing I can assure you is Ready to Work is here to stay. It's an opportunity for you to improve yourself and add value to the society you're in, add value to the world business market, and of course, to the academic field as well. My name is Eskin, and I'm looking forward to seeing you soon on the next webinar. Thank you so much to all the guys that join in on our Zoom platform. If you join in on there, if I wasn't able to read your question, I'm sorry. Due to time, we had to push on. Thanks and shouts going out to all the guys that watched us on Facebook as well. As always, if you want to find anything about Apsa, go on any social media platform and search for Apsa Ghana. The website for Ready to Work is www.readytowork.absa.africa. Go on there now, find out all the information you need, and of course, it's free. Go on there, improve yourself. I'm looking forward to seeing a better person on the next webinar. My name is Eskin, and have a wonderful day. Apsa, that's Africanacity.